I hear you. I'm going to be honest with you today. Sometimes the helpers need help too. Not everybody has this amazing ability to deal with emotions and situations with a smile on their face and their head held high. I have spoken often about the need to talk. I talk about talk therapy, I talk about psychiatrists, I talk about psychologists, I talk about leaning on friends and people you trust. It's all very important. But sometimes people with the very best intentions still don't know how to respond to something that you're going through. And it's at that time that they don't need to offer anything beyond, I hear you. It's a phrase that society often overlooks and underestimates its impact, but it holds the potential to bring comfort, healing, and understanding to those in need. In times of emotional distress or when supporting someone who's going through a difficult situation, we may feel compelled to offer advice, solutions, or reassurance. But we need to remember that sometimes when we don't know what to say, saying I hear you can be more valuable than any words of wisdom. The situation that I am dealing with right now ties so many parts of my life together from several decades. From the most traumatizing thing to ever happen to me almost 30 years ago, all the way up to the sudden loss of my father a couple of months ago and the current situation with my mom's health. A lot of things that are happening right now are pulling me back to that space 30 years ago, and it is causing me deep emotional pain. I'm doing my best to get through it using my snarky and sarcastic sense of humor that I got from my dad, and definitely looking at all sides while trying to process post-traumatic stress disorder and a small part of the population who just doesn't understand how incredibly insensitive they're being. Again, I want to trust that people have the best intentions and that they mean well, but my situation is so difficult to hear about, and it's so hard to talk about, not for me, but because other people just don't want to hear it. People can't understand enough to know what to say, and I don't blame them. I know they're doing their best, but I think that a little bit of awareness, like maybe noticing how I might start to respond on the phone or in an email or a text message or even in person, that might be the time to take a step back and reconsider the things that you're saying. If it's not being received well by somebody, you're probably not saying the right things, and it's not your fault, it's just how it is. That's the best time to say, I hear you, and nothing more. There is a reason that not many people know, or at the time knew what happened to me almost 30 years ago. And this is exactly it. I was 18 years old, and somehow I knew that it would be too difficult to have to address it, so I mostly kept my mouth shut. I had a few close friends at the time, one of them who was actually going through it with me because he was also connected to this particular incident. And these friends were the ones who just kept me going. We didn't talk about the thing, we just had love and support. Yes, I had a great deal of therapy back then. I healed, I was discharged. But now there are issues kind of bubbling back up to the surface, and I have this whole new group of people who just don't know what to say. The world is complex and crazy, and I believe that it is essential for us to be empathetic and supportive to those around us. We all encounter moments in our lives when we don't have all the answers, and when we don't fully understand the depths of someone else's pain, or when we simply lack the experience or the knowledge to offer solutions. In these moments, it's important to acknowledge that we are not experts in the other person's situation. We might not be in the right pay grade to provide the perfect advice or solutions, but that doesn't mean that we can't make a positive difference. Saying, I hear you, is a way of saying, I'm here for you, I acknowledge your pain, and I'm willing to listen. It opens the door to honest communication and fosters an atmosphere of trust. It shows that we care about the person and their feelings, and it validates their experience. Sometimes people simply need a safe space to express their thoughts, fears, and frustrations without judgment, without lectures, and without pep talks. It's important to recognize that when we try to offer advice or solutions without fully understanding someone's situation, we do risk doing more harm than good. Our well-intentioned words might inadvertently minimize their feelings, invalidate their experiences, or add unnecessary pressure. Instead, by saying, "I hear you," we allow the person to feel seen and heard, and this in itself can be a significant source of comfort. By using this phrase, we can offer support without the need for answers or solutions. We don't have to be experts in every situation, but we can be experts in empathy and compassion. "I hear you" may not solve the problems, but it can be the first step towards finding the right solutions or even seeking professional help when or if necessary. The simple act of saying, "I hear you," can be a powerful way to support those in need. It's a reminder that we don't always need to have all the answers or all the solutions. We don't need to be fixers. I know it's hard for those of us who like to be fixers, but we can provide comfort and reassurance by creating a safe and non-judgmental space for others to express themselves. We all need to remember the profound impact our words and actions can have, and use "I hear you" to bridge the gaps when we find ourselves in situations beyond our expertise, because sometimes the most meaningful support is the gift of our presence and understanding. Thanks for watching.